Hey, welcome to the Identity Booth. Thanks for joining me. My partner isn't here. My partner being Momma Bear. She's taking care of some things that she has to take care of when you drink too much of this. I'm going to hide this from her. But thanks for joining us on the podcast. I appreciate it. This is the Identity Booth. As always, I appreciate you guys. Like, share, subscribe. She's going to plug all that stuff. All her lovely information is going to be on there. And, keep rocking with us. We're going to do the damn thing. And then we're going to go get something to eat because it's 5 o'clock and I only had breakfast. I ain't eat lunch. And I might be going to Omaha tonight to go meet up with some realtors because I don't have a place to live right now, which is cool. Job. You want to introduce the show?
Yes, this is Identity Test. Identity Battle. Identity, who was that? What? Did I mix it up?
It's Identity Theft. That's a good one.
What did you say?
The Identity Booth.
Oh, Identity Booth.
Mm-hmm.
But Identity Theft sounds so much like...
It also sounds like a felony crime.
But then there's that. What are we?
I don't want to.
From Chicago. Oh, and you're Nigerian.
Whoa, stereotypes. Yo, you might be getting kicked off the booth, yo. Hold on, fam. No, don't touch me. Stay over there.
That was fucked up.
Dang. Adult friends, man. That's what we got over here.
I would never think of that of you personally.
Flip my hair. What did you think about my brothers? They all eligible bachelors. They Gucci don't gotta be real.
Are they?
Well, no, my other brothers.
You never introduced me.
My brother, one of my younger brothers about to get married. So, y'all missed that one. He got him a good one.
He got coin?
Oh yeah, he's an agent.
Oh my God, why would you? You didn't think of me?
Who do you want to date?
Ooh.
Who you
Who?
want to date? Who? Like, I don't know your type, your taste.
My taste is like, first.
I know they got to be a little rough around the edges.
Thank you.
They got to be intellectual though.
Thank you.
So, like,
what else? Funny.
They gotta be funny.
And I like you to work out. That's it.
That's it?
That's enough. After that, you start getting picky. But that's like 4 good things to start off with. And love the Lord. Do you love any Lord? The universe, Lord,
I believe
Jesus?
in God, but I don't like religion.
And that's fine. But listen, it ain't about you, and you're not a higher power by yourself.
No.
So...
Like, I just don't know how, like, my partner would feel about it. Because, like, I've dated Christian women who have hit me up and been like, oh, I didn't know you were raised Muslim. I was like, but I was...
Oh, yeah, you were raised.
I was raised Muslim, but I went to a boarding school in Africa that was Christian.
How do you feel about, like, how serious is, like, religiosity to you in your dating experience?
Non-existent to me. I don't care.
Wow.
Like,
so agnostic is okay?
Yeah, perfectly fine.
Wow.
Because, like, ultimately, at the end of the day, that's between you and God.
But you're going to raise kids together. So how do you feel then?
And if someone is agnostic, then they don't care about that kid's religious belief. The same thing with me. I don't care. Like,
you don't care, though?
I don't care if you have a faith or not. That is not my battle to take.
It's not my battle, but I do think you should have some sort of core. I do think that, in my experience, the person that I've had that did not have any core was toxic. But that probably had nothing to do with, he was
a toxic person first.
In general.
Yeah. So, but like for me, like I'm willing to, I'll put on the bow tie and show up to the Christmas party. And I'll come to the church and sit down and talk But
that's not what we talk about. We're talking about when it's time to talk about things and not argue. When it's time to say, like, what's the kid's routine? Can you say, like, it's okay for them to have a routine of some sort that includes, understanding religious or not even religious, but spiritual belief?
No, for sure. I think, like...
Today is Black Awareness Day. In Brazil, Black consciousness is all about understanding your Blackness and living in that power.
I'm honestly, I think...
Our child is Black.
I'm okay with, like... the regime. I think more important than like the religion is the core, like the naming of the child, the religion, like the culture of the child.
I will say that in Black America, my opinion, we don't put as much emphasis on naming a child as we should.
Yeah.
In other, in other parts of the diaspora, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, naming a child has a lot to do. Like, even so, I studied Gullah Geechee culture, right? They talk about naming a child on the day that they were born, or something that happened with the mother, or it's very rooted in African tradition, right?
Yeah.
So when I think about naming a child, I think about like the parents involved. I think about what happened during the pregnancy, what happened during the labor experience, or what you want that child to be, transcend. And I think all those things are important because when you get a child with I'm not gonna name names, but when you get a child with a name and it's not it's made up or it's fictional or it's what we consider ghetto. Some of what we consider ghetto isn't even ghetto. It's Arabic.
Yeah.
It's straight up Arabic.
Like a lot of people,
Hebrew.
A lot of people are like always baffled. Like, why do you go by hero? Well, Ibrahim Al-Shani, Hero Abdullah. It means the helping.
Hero Abdullah.
It's the help. It means the helping hand of God.
He's so strong though. Why would you not call him Hero? He's strong.
It's the helping hand of God. So like instinctively, that person is a hero.
Exactly.
So like. I always think like, man, how great is it to just be more than William or Daquan?
When you name your child a name, you are calling them every single time.
Yeah.
So if I name you Doofus, every single time I call Doofus, come here. You have to live in Doofus. You have to walk in Doofus.
Yeah.
If I name you God's salvation, then you have to walk in that. You have to be that. You have to transcend that. You have to transmute all the things that don't allow you to be God's salvation.
I had this interesting conversation with a good friend once. How do you feel about taking the last name of your partner?
I'm a hyphenated bitch. I ain't gonna lie to you.
What?
And I'm hyphenated. I'm hyphenated only because right now I'm not engaged. So I imagine that I will complete my doctorate without being married. And because of that, my dad has done so much for me.
Yeah.
He is owed that name. But if I got married before I graduated, I would probably be hyphenated for a point. Okay. So that my dad can still get his recognition. Okay. And then I would transfer into my husband's name.
I see that happen a lot with doctors. A lot of like Black female surgeons that I know, they have their name hyphenated, but then once their father passes away, they then go over totally.
Because he's important. Like, he ain't never let me down.
No, and I think I don't know if I would even. The first time it was brought to me, I thought of it from more of from an isolation standpoint. Like the standpoint was, if we had kids together, that child shares my name. Everyone in the house shares something except for me and you.
And that's fucked up. I don't like that. I've seen women that have gotten divorced and still keep their husband's name for the sake of the child. And I get it. You don't want to look ghetto. And white people love to make you look ghetto over anything. And just, if we were a family, and I know a lot of women that like have kids and then they don't want to remarry while their kids are growing up for the sake of, again, their child. So it just definitely depends.
How sad is it to be holding yourself back for this lost hope of identity?
No, you're holding yourself because you want to care for your child and you don't want anybody else to come in between that.
Yeah, but can't you care for your child and also take care of yourself?
You be fucked up in the streets. And
some of the most, I think about some of the guys that I grew up with and went to school with and how the wife selection. And I'll say this.
What do you feel about the wife selection?
The wife selection. It's scary to me because I've seen some guys.
Why? Why is it scary?
Because I've seen guys who literally had the flyest women ever. And then I look at their wife, and I'm not discounting or discrediting her.
But she don't be with the flyest women.
She's not that. She's not.
That's crazy because it be like that.
And when I asked them, because I'm in their wedding, or I'm part of their wedding physically, and I'm asking them, I'm like, yo, how?
Why did you get married?
How did this happen? Right. And he was like, bro, when all the chips were down, and I had nothing, not even my faith at that point. She brought me back to salvation. And I was like...
Because that means God or some sort of being higher than yourself is important.
No, for sure. But I then said to myself, okay, but after you've recovered, you stayed. So what made you stay? Because
is it the obligation or is it love?
And that was what I was wondering. That was what I was waiting for. And then he said, ultimately, what ended up happening was I changed. I physically became a different person. I mentally became a better person. Like, I didn't feel comfortable making the decisions I was making without her at my side. Without her, I am weak. And then it was like...
So do you feel that you experienced that?
No.
Ooh.
Like, it's just because I feel like the position that I've always played in my relationships is I am the person who does the fixing in my relationships.
Ooh.
Like, I've never had the opposite. I've never had anyone come into my life and drastically change the way I do things or have me feel like I'm not fulfilling something, and because of them being here now, I'm fulfilling it. Like, and that's not a diss or a saying that these women are like, yeah, that's just what I've experienced. And also, I think I'm still part of the old adage of I'm a man. Like, I will let you be the woman that you want to be, but you will have to. But before you even come correct about your soapbox and stand on your soapbox, you will have to recognize me as your man. Like, that's not me.
Could you do a polyamorous relationship?
That's a big word. Say that. What's that mean?
Polygamous. Could you do more than one fucking person? Could you allow your wife, your girlfriend, your significant other to have sex with other people while you do the same?
Fuck no.
Why?
That's mine. And I'm yours. Like, then why are we together?
So do you feel that when polygamy or polyamory happens that, like, you're still looking for other things? Or do you feel like, what's your thought about it?
No, because, like, porn stars get married. It's always weird to me whenever I watch porn, they have rings on. Their wedding ring will be on. And I'm like, she's married. And that's definitely not her husband.
I don't watch porn, so I don't know.
I watch porn, and I know this to be factual. But the thing is, like, they love each other, and hear this, porn people in porn, their weddings outlast basic other careers, doctors, nurses.
Careers?
Yeah. So
porn careers or porn people?
Porn people's marriages outlast.
But why do you think that is?
Because they have a certain level of comfort that goes beyond just...
It's the honesty.
Communication. That's what I'm thinking. Like, they have a blunt...
Because if you don't know what I'm thinking, I don't know what you're thinking, then I make assumptions, and then if my assumption is wrong or right, it affects our communication.
And I feel like having that type of profession forces you to be real honest with yourself.
So that's why I'm asking if we're open, if you can go have sex with somebody else, do you feel like our communication might be better because I know what you're doing, you know what I'm doing, and we can communicate.
But I can communicate to you that I would only want to have sex with you, and I only want to be with you, and I'm comfortable coming home to you every fucking night for the rest of my life. If you can't...
Is that your personality?
That is my personality. Okay. Like, I feel like... and I'm gonna stroke my ego for a second. I've lived that life. I've had my threesomes. I've slept with the fan who saw me after the end of a game.
He's a classy man, ladies. Don't let this exterior fool you.
This is
classy man.
Like, I've done that already, and like people take it for, like, people that really do real deal take that, like, party lifestyle for granted, but I don't, because I played in the NFL, right. So I've done all of that. I've sat in the VIP sections. And
we ain't got no African musk.
She wants the musk again. So I've done all of those things already. So in my mind, I got it out of my system. Like, I experienced it.
But that don't mean...
I experienced it. It was fun. But guess what? I'm not gonna, like, damn, I want to keep this lifestyle up. Like, I'm genuinely looking for one girl. And I think I'm only a one girl type guy.
Because you ain't got the energy.
I mean, it's not...
I'm not talking about stamina. I'm saying, like, I got to remember your birthday. I got to remember stuff you like.
But I got smartphones for that now.
Is that what a smartphone is for?
It's smartphone
for your partner?
Well, for me it is, because I know I'm bad with dates.
I mean, but most people are bad with dates. Does that really mean you want to keep up with that many personalities?
Exactly. I think it's a bigger task. And at some point, what am I gonna do when it comes to, like, time to love XYZ person?
I would roll something, but classy.
I appreciate you.
No, it's okay. I just want to make the African musk.
I really want to be... I want to be able to say, like you're it for me, and, like, I
think that's important, though.
To say that I want all my energy to be focused on you, because I saw the relationship, and let me use my family. I saw the 7 wives relationship with the 21 kids. I saw that.
That is black power at its finest.
It's a powerful scene, but there's a dynamic and a dichotomy.
Seven, that's a lot of women.
And there were. And
I don't even like women that much.
And let me tell you how it went down. Let me tell you how this shit went down. Because at one point, his youngest daughter, his youngest wife was younger than his oldest daughter.
I mean, but.
And at some point, it wasn't.
Why you mad though? That's what he wanted.
It's not. I don't. It's a sign of power in our culture, in that culture especially. So he wanted to show that. I mean, there's only 16 last names in the whole entire village. You want to be able to say that your family.
That's my bitch.
Is running shit here, and it was. But at some point,
what's the problem?
The problem then became that as we grow up and become more cultured, our emotional intelligence doesn't grow from that point. It's stunted because this structure doesn't allow there to be progression. Imagine you being the fourth wife in the middle, only having 2 daughters.
I would never imagine myself being that because you know what? I'm gonna be the first wife.
But how can you dictate that?
Because it is that or it's not.
So, and to your point, you want to be the head honcho.
Yeah. If we're gonna do anything, I'm with you while we pick a wife. I'm not going to be coming for an interview. No, it's not. That's not my behavior.
So why not just have one and call it a day?
And that's that on that.
Are you trying to? Do you want to have 2 dudes over here or what? Or 2 women in your life? Like, what's going on? Like, cause
I didn't say that. What I said was. Now listen, I will say this. I've considered like what polyamory means, especially in society and things like that. And when people say 2 dudes, it makes you sound like you're a hoe. And it's just like...
I don't think so. Because we're all grown at this point.
It makes you sound like you're a hoe.
No, it doesn't.
You say like, I would want 2 dudes.
Megan Thee Stallion has literally got men
with
bumping...
her knees.
Yes, women. She got men out here bumping her shit live.
Because the shit is real.
It is.
She said, I want to be fucked with no. Boy, you can't touch this A. Bitch, I'm on rich shit up. My money. And she said my money thick.
Yeah.
Walk with a limp lip.
So, like, women out here running shit. So, like, by all means, if you...
Cognac queen.
In fact, I know a girl.
Queen.
I know a girl right now who has a sugar daddy and a boyfriend.
It's nothing wrong with that.
And literally, he takes them both on vacation.
That's nasty.
But he's a sugar daddy.
That's too much.
Why?
That's like now you're mixing. If you got a sugar daddy, he's there because he want to look at you, talk to you, take you out. That's it.
And he wants some sugar.
No sugar.
It's not sugar daddy if you don't want no sugar. You're just you're a pimp at that point. Like what?
I mean, so there.
Tell us how you feel, Jazz.
No, I mean there are people that like to pay for things that I'm definitely not. Ever.
Hey, I could definitely I can see myself like my wife.
But I'm saying if they want to give me things and I'm not doing any of the things, then what is that? He's still my sugar daddy.
Okay, I mean I know they exist because I be seeing the Instagram feeds. Like I know you don't have money, so how did you get to this place? I know you can't afford this. How did you get here?
If you were grad school,
hey,
bitch, it's you.
So I know for a fact, and that's like part of the image and the facade that I'm building, like the person that I'm trying to be, I guess, in the sense of.
Wait, did I have all of these?
Yeah. Go ahead, show the camera what you've done with yourself. Go.
This is a crown. Crown again. And Jack Daniels. And
where'd you start on there?
It was frosted. It's adding to my coffee.
Jen will tell you, I take care of my people. Don't worry, I'm not going to let her drive, y'all. We're going to go eat. Cuban food. So it's really, I don't know, relationships, at least as long as relationships are concerned, like, it's already tough enough just being in a regular relationship. I'm not trying to add no extra shit.
By what?
Just in general, just anything that could add stress to a relationship. I feel like it's just too hard already being happy just with one girl.
No, it shouldn't be hard. So listen.
Tell me.
I listened to Abraham Hicks.
Abraham Hicks.
Abraham Hicks. These are some nice white people that live in Texas, and they do conferences on the law of attraction. And even the young gentleman that wrote the four agreements, what's his name? I can't remember.
If I figure it out, I'll put it.
He's gonna put it in there. It's like Don something, but they talk about how you feel and how your thoughts and decisions affect your beliefs, and that affects like how you interact in the world. And I really do believe that. And so, like, if I say to you, I'm going to meet this guy and he's going to be lovely and everything, if I keep my mind set on that, if I only look at the positive things, then that's all I'll see. But as soon as I start to see a flaw and I start to take it apart, and I see another flaw and I start taking it apart, like, that becomes my normal, my consciousness, my reality.
Is it weird that I find, like, whenever I run into those situations, I'll be like, I don't like that she does it. I just nip it in the bud right there. I'm like, hey, look, I didn't like that.
No, that's not weird, because I think that if you say it, you're speaking your truth, you're letting somebody know your boundary, you're letting somebody know your expectation, and then you can move on from that. But if you don't say anything at all, you're a victim, you're a slaw, you're not putting yourself out there for your expectations, wants, and needs and desires. And then there's a part of that, like, people are who the fuck they are. You can't really try to change them. So there's all those things. So, like, for example, I mean, I might be a little tad bit late. I don't think I'm late all the time. Some people would disagree.
She's literally going to be late to delivering her own child. The baby will come and she will still be in the car waiting to get it to the hospital.
And that's better on that. But guess what? My baby will be nourished. Yes. I'll probably be vegan. I'm not going to do anything to disrupt the pregnancy. I got a trade-off. So with that being said, like, I might be late. My partner has to be okay with the fact that I'm going to be on my own time. But at the same time, the loyalty of who I am is not going to be compromised. Like, you would never be more comfortable. Like, the fact that Hero feels like he can ask me to talk on his podcast.
Like, there's people.
You didn't blink on that.
No, there's people that have asked me and still waiting to get on podcast, and I'm still.
But you didn't blink on, like, Jen's going to deliver.
Yeah.
Jen's going to come through, and her content's going to be dope.
Yeah.
I'm going to be that same person for my partner. I'm going to deliver. I'm going to be dope. I'm going to make sure they never want. Like, I'm not going to sleep on my partner, because that's also a part of who I am. So it's like, are you going to be conditional and say that I need to be on time? Well, that's not in my makeup.
Yeah.
Or are you going to take into the account that I'm always going to be loyal until you're happy?
No, I think that's a very important, like, differentiation to make. Like, you have to be very, very have intent on what you're saying, like, to the extent of
it is intent. It's all about intentionality.
Like, even when we were talking about her coming, I was like, come whenever you're ready. I'm ready right now. Show up whenever you're ready. I'll be here.
But I came and when you said you were ready.
Yeah, and I was like, whenever she chooses to show up, if she showed up at 11 p.m. I would have been like,
I didn't do that.
But in my mind,
sleepy.
But no, I mean, I think I'm gonna be going to Omaha tomorrow morning because I gotta go find a house. Okay. So, like, I might literally pack a bag after this.
You gonna fly though?
Yeah.
Wow, you got coins.
A little bit. Like, I just finished paying for Mom's birthday party. That was expensive.
Hey. Can I come? Where's it at?
60th birthday party.
Where's it gonna be in Texas? I mean, it's gonna be in Chicago.
Oh, we already had it. You didn't see the pictures?
Oh no, I did not.
Oh yeah, it was real lovely, real nice.
Are you going home for the New Year and things?
I don't know anymore. New Year's I wanted to come to Dallas.
Cause it's always a block. Especially if you went to school in Arkansas or from Arkansas in general.
Pine Bluff has been relocated to Dallas now.
Or Memphis.
Memphis too. Who am I thinking about? Cole be out there, and I'll just be like, man, she out here just doing her damn thing. So proud. Like, I don't know. It wasn't the class I graduated with. My class is like so.
We was lit during graduation. We was
too damn lit.
I think I don't even remember what happened.
It's really, like, I say to myself, we were so lit that we got so spread apart. Like, we out here in Cali. Some people are still like.
But at graduation, we sat together.
Yeah, we did. And we had the whole row to ourselves.
We had the whole row.
Because we were the only camp crew. We was camp crew 1-on-1.
That was it.
I just don't, like, man. I think to myself, like, damn, I really wish I could get back to a world where, like, that level of, like, companionship and closure that I had. And it's so hard to find that.
It's so weird.
It's so hard to find.
Going to an HBCU in a small town. And then you connect with your classmates.
And then you leave. That's just.
And then you leave and you still have the same memory of your classmates, and you still have the same connection with your classmates. I think that's really rare.
Like I can see OD or any of them anywhere, and it's the
same.
The conversation picks up right where it left off, and it's like there's no hesitation. People will literally be looking at me like, "Do you know him?" It's like, "Oh
that's
yeah,
my brother.
Yeah,
that's
right,
my brother."
And I always told myself like people always ask me like, "Oh man, like Hero, did you ever like all your friends?" Like they see all my friends like, "Oh, Hero, you must have been in Greek or something." Like a lot of people failed. Like, no, I didn't.
I was black on campus and I was in STEM, and these are my people.
These are my people. Like they were like, "Oh, what fraternity or sorority did you meet her?" I'm like, "Oh no, we were just in the same class. We were in the same class at the same time, passing the same test."
Or failing the same test. Or trying to struggle to pass the same test.
They're trying to figure out the easiest way.
Trying to get out.
Man, without losing anything other than our fucking minds. Because ultimately, like
somebody had you.
When I think about like all the things that happened in college, the fondest memories aren't in the football field for me.
Really?
They're not. They were in that STEM building. They were in the library, in the cut, in the JBJ, where you needed the key from the front desk in order to study in there. That's where we stood. Because once we left the library, we wasn't done studying. We had to find another spot to go to.
Because the library closed by 10 p.m.
Yeah. So
that's true.
Our lives literally, and I mean, we had full-time jobs, 16 hours a day. Yeah. I would go to class, go to practice, be done with practice, catch up with you guys at the library, and then continue studying on. And like, when it's all said and done, I remember between the 2 games, I left the bye week to come graduate.
Yeah.
And came back, and people were like, "We could have mailed you your degree." But it was like,
nah, I work for this. I work for this with these people.
Yeah, they was there on the phone with me, talking to me at 3:00 in the morning.
That's true.
We
got a test at 8 and we don't know shit. I mean, we knew stuff, but it was like, you don't know enough.
You could never know enough.
You could never know enough.
And then I would say to myself, like, I knew I was lost out there. So I always felt a little bit better whenever I'd be like, "Jen, do you understand this concept?" And you're like, "Nah."
No, I do not.
And I would just be like,
but you know what? I think it's so funny because there are a lot of concepts that we learned in undergrad that I honestly master now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is it age? Is it growth? Is it the repetition?
It's the 10,000 rule.
What's that?
If you do anything 10,000 times, that's why you will never forget how to ride a bike once you learn.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why you never forget how to rollerblade once you learn. Like, editing, coding, and all these things that I've been doing it for 3 years. My drawings compared to year 1 versus year 3 are significantly different. So it's just with repetition.
But it's crazy because you especially, I don't know about like everybody, but especially for us probably as black people who want to excel in life, when you don't get it right that first time,
it's discouraging as fuck.
It's like, I do not understand. How do I not understand this?
You know,
am I dumb?
No, and I think it's just because really we as a society haven't become comfortable with the fact that people learn differently. I didn't learn that I was dyslexic till my junior. Till my.
How you know?
I figured it out once I was in.
But what you really like dyslexic about? Like if I search for spell. We lost the baby. The baby ain't got no.
Like, so words seem, until I focus on a word, if I'm not focused on a paragraph, the words jumble.
But like I do that shit too. I don't know if I'm tipsy, but like most of the time, like I can read some big shit backwards too. What you mean though?
I think it was more in line with it required an extra layer of focus. Like you can't read something passively.
But I think that's like the thing, right? So most people probably grew up reading things very directly. They didn't have TV, they didn't have phones, right? So now we have TV, phones, schedules, grocery lists, bill lists. You're under 30. You don't have a wife or a husband, possibly. You know what I'm saying? So your focus is like, I gotta get this my all. So like, how do you know you're dyslexic versus like it's fucking stressful?
And that's a great point. And so I would caveat it with this. It was when I was in my master's program, I was considerably less stressed because I didn't have to worry about football. It was at that point that I then realized that my learning style was never really established.
Tell the people.
It wasn't established.
It was never established. It's not like I don't have one. I never cultivated that.
And what eventually I found out was, because this is by this time I had already developed a certain level of technology, I realized that, oh no, all these textbooks and everything, me reading it isn't going to be beneficial to me. But if I copy and paste this into a PDF and hit read, text and let this system read it to me, and I can pause it, replay it, reference it again, highlight it, and come back to it, all of a sudden I've developed a new way of taking notes and a new way of understanding things, to the point where I then started reading out the notes that I'm reading and playing it back to mine.
So that sounds similar to mine. So my learning style is teaching. So if I learn from myself, and it's kind of like not necessarily discouraging, but like messed up, because you should be able to do things for yourself and not for other people, right? But when I have to teach, present, or otherwise, my capacity to learn expands versus when I'm learning to pass a test. And I think because somewhere along the line, especially in STEM, passing a test is arbitrary. Yeah. Like, you feel like this some BS, this for the man, this not for me. Like, you go through all these emotions because people put so much emphasis on passing an exam. Yeah. So when you realize that your goal, your purpose, your drive, your ambition is more about helping the next level, the next person, you realize like, oh, I gotta learn this for the people behind me, and it's not about you. And I think that the most important thing you could do as a person, especially a Black person, is understand your struggle is not about you. It's about my culture, my diaspora, my growth, right?
No, absolutely. And it's even to the effect that why I said to myself, like, me becoming a doctor was something I wanted to do. When I found out I couldn't do it, it didn't discourage me, because if I could figure out why I failed, I could help the next person. And if there's 3 versions of me, right, then the world is better off already.
We dope as hell.
We better off for it. Like, I think like the scholarship fund that I plan on making with Chris is going to be basically like, we'll pay for your first year. We'll pay for your first year of law school or medical school. But the rule is, if you make it, you have to pay for 2 new incoming people.
Oh, wow. That's a lot. That's a lot.
But guess what? You've already made it. You've already made it.
That's a lot. I'm going to say 2 is a lot. I'm going to say 2 is a lot because when you make it, like, it's not like when you get into residency, you making $300,000.
It doesn't have to be right at residency. But when you're 10 years in, and you have, and people are calling you talking about, hey, I would like to shadow you. So like, hey,
all right, I can see that.
Yeah, like,
that's different.
Be comfortable. Be prepared.
By all means, take care of yourself.
No, for sure.
But give back.
You have to, and you have to find a way. And that's why I'm not always caught up on when people decide to give back. You could give back on your last day on earth.
That's true.
You gave it though.
You gave it.
And however long it took for you to get it.
And we ain't here to judge your intent. Cause listen, let me tell you who ain't God. He ain't. I'm still a good candidate, but he not.
Man, I'm out here thinking to myself, what do I have to do? What more is left for me on this table before I can just...
A lot. Like, you here, you got a plan, you got ambition, you got drive, and you got know-how, and you got a little wisdom behind you, behind these knot locks. So, like, a lot is required and expected of you for yourself and others. And I gotta go again.
I guess I should intro the show. Hey,
I want some ramen noodles at this point.
Why you want some ramen noodles?
That's what I got in my bag, and all it requires is hot water.
Oh, wow. I don't know if I introed the show, but if I didn't, we're gonna do a clap sync. 3, 2, 1. Episodes. All right, let's do clap sync real quick. 3, 2, 1.
I think. Wait, do it again.
No.
I think I was a little late. Like, like the white people really.
All right,
go ahead.
Do it. No, you do it.
1, 2, 3. See?
All right, guys.
Coffee.
We are done. I don't know at what point you are watching this. I don't know where the podcast started, and that's the type.
How you know we done though? Because we got a lot to say.
You, by all means, speak your mind.
I mean, I love Black men. I think they are amazing. I think that like the sun rises and sets on y'all. I think like y'all are like brunch with mimosas and a beach view. And I think like if we all got therapy, we'd be in a much better place to love each other. And I want to love a Black man because, let me tell you something about their melanin and their hair and their scent. Like, the shit's amazing. It's nothing that I've ever experienced before. And I've tried white, I've tried Indian, and I've tried because I know I don't want that, but I've tried because I gotta say, like, I tried it. But there's nothing like a Black man from the womb of a Black woman that, like, let's all get it together. So that's all I wanted to say on my time.
Y'all get that shit together.
Get it together. Black women too, because y'all be playing in the streets. Yeah. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. We're saying black men get it together.
I'm going to get my boys together. Hey, and when they get their shit together, where can they reach you?
And Ivy Lee. IvyLeigh.
All the information will be in the comment section below.
AfricanBloodlines@gmail.com.
But I want y'all to know that it has been a blast having my best friend from a year gone by. College was an amazing time. It was an amazing time because of the people I met there. It was because of the connections I met there. Like, for all the Pythagorean theorems that I've learned and everything, it's gone down the drain. But there's one thing I know forever: the connections and the bonds that I made, and I'll be for eternally grateful to these people. And Jen, I just want to say thank you for coming on the booth. I love you more. I love you more, Mama Bear. So this has been the Identity Booth for whatever episode this is, because
we don't know no more.
Nah, Jen went in on it, so I was like, no, I'm gonna just let her go with it, and that's just how it happened to be. So from me to you, as we continue to identify with each other, be kind to one another. And guys, get your shit together. And when you do, go ahead.
And back that ass up.
Back it all the way up. Drop it like it's fuck gravity.
Bye-bye.
Take care, y'all. This is about to be the funniest shit ever.